Ron, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we're going to look forward to learning more about how to use YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us.
All right, thanks. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
You can hear everything. Everything's good. All right. Welcome. And this is going to be a fun hour. I guess that we have an hour then, right, Huey? An hour. Okay.
That's correct.
Right. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. This next hour, we're going to talk about YouTube. I hope my goal anyway is that everyone will leave with some information, maybe have some fun, maybe if you have, maybe I can give you some tips. When Huey and I talked about this earlier this week, I wondered who the audience was I would be talking to, because when you talk about YouTube, there's two types of people that use YouTube. One are consumers, and those are people who watch YouTube, right? And then there are people who are creators, people who create YouTube content and upload it to YouTube. So there's two types of people. There's consumers and creators. I gather probably at this meeting today, most of us will be consumers. There may be some creators, and I hope to have some information for you as well. But we're mostly going to talk about consumers, people consuming YouTube today. I want to talk a little bit about what YouTube is and what it isn't. And then maybe we have a short video, a 20-minute video to play for you. And then we're going to have some question and answer period. You can ask some questions. And then I have another very short video on YouTube chapters. I want to go over what YouTube chapters are and what the significance of this is. And we'll look at that. And again, we'll be able to answer some questions for you. I spend most of my life, I didn't used to do this, but but my life today mostly is either consuming or creating, more creating. And on our channel now, we have just under 700 videos that I manage on our YouTube channel. So it's growing rapidly, and I spend a lot of time there. I also participate in a lot of creators forums, and so I have to know how to work my way around YouTube pretty efficiently. So I'm certainly happy to answer any questions, but we'll hold the questions until maybe after the first video that I play. Now, when we're talking about YouTube, we're talking about YouTube that you would find probably on your PC. But there also is YouTube Premium, and there is YouTube TV. Now, we're not going to talk about YouTube TV today. YouTube TV is a separate service that YouTube started a few years ago. It's a great service. It really replaces your cable TV. It is a streaming service, and it is a paid service. And that is, of course, and YouTube TV. Maybe some of you have it, some of you don't. YouTube TV is only available in the United States. It is not available in any other part of the world. And so it is actually very interesting because, of course, Google got it right again. There, a lot of the 5G networks, a lot of the companies now providing all your television on a 5G network are using YouTube TV as their service, as the service for television providers. So it is cool and it is neat, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about plain, ordinary YouTube that we all, well, I hope everybody uses. The first thing that you need to know is that YouTube makes a lot of money. In the last quarter of last year, they made $24 billion in 3 months. And you're going to say, wow, that's crazy, right? They didn't make 24, but they actually earned or grossed $24 billion. But the cost of running the service was $16 billion. So I guess that's 4 and 4 is 8. So they made $8 billion in 3 months. Not bad, but it is an expensive service to run. And the service is, of course, all paid for because you don't pay for it, right? I guess we'll call it free, but it really isn't free. But we'll call it free because you don't pay for it. You don't pay to upload your videos. You don't pay to store them there. You don't pay anything for YouTube. YouTube is all pretty much solely paid for, that $16 billion, by ads. So the first thing you're going to notice when you're watching YouTube is you're going to say, oh my God, there's all these ads. I have all these ads through my videos, and ads, ads, ads. And that is because that's how they pay for YouTube. So if you want to get rid of the ads, the other thing you may have heard about is YouTube Premium. And this is simply a service where you'll pay $12 a month, and that gets rid of the ads. A whole day on YouTube. For many, many years ago, I started and I paid $12 a month, and I don't see any ads. So that's sort of how YouTube works. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the statistics you may want to. I mean, it is a big deal. If you're not watching YouTube, you should. If you, in 2021, more people in the United States watched YouTube than television. So that's a very interesting statistic. And I'm probably one of those. I mostly watch YouTube, not YouTube TV. I mostly watch YouTube rather than cable television. The other thing is that there are about, at any one time on YouTube, 122 million people at any time of the day. There's usually about 122 million people. Of that, it's interesting, only 30% are from the United States. So the other thing about YouTube is really is a global phenomenon. In fact, 70% of the people that use YouTube aren't from the United States, which is interesting. And if you actually look at people in the United States that use YouTube, about 62% of those people are on a daily basis. So if you are using YouTube, then you usually are watching it on a daily basis. The other interesting statistics is that there's 500 hours of YouTube content uploaded every minute. Every minute of the day, there's 500 hours that are uploaded. And Huey and I contribute to that greatly, right, Huey? we are part of the problem, right? We are uploading lots of stuff. So I think those are interesting statistics, and we could go on and on and on, and I could impress you with how big YouTube is, but it is bigger. The other thing that I think that you need to know, that it's really an important fact. I think everybody would agree that the biggest search engine in the world is Google. And I don't think anybody would dispute that, but the largest search engine in the world is Google. The second largest search engine in the world is YouTube. And this will be more apparent as we move along on the talk today. You'll see that this is why this is so important. But the second largest search engine in the world, of course, is YouTube. Huey wanted me to he said this is a good time to remind everybody how they actually, if they wanted to get a YouTube channel started, how would you do that? And is it cost any money? And how would you do that? Well, I'm not going to go into the specifics because there's lots of YouTube videos on how to do that. But I will tell you that anybody who has a Google account or a Gmail account can start a YouTube channel. You don't automatically get a YouTube channel. You have to actually apply, create, and install one. But but it's free, and it's very easy to do. And you can certainly, anybody who has a YouTube account can do that, or has a Google account can do that. And there is no cost. Uploading as creators, there really is no cost to do that. Or is there any storage requirements? So you can upload, in our case, I have terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of stuff that have been uploaded into Tech for Seniors YouTube account. And I don't pay anything for storage, and I don't pay anything to have people look at it, and so on and so forth. So it is all free. So that's sort of the ground rules of what we're going to talk about today. Now, I wanted to specifically mention, many of you probably have watched YouTube videos on your PC. You may have got a link, maybe from Tech for Senior or a newsletter or something, and you click on the link and it takes you to the YouTube video and you play the video, and that's sort of cool. But I really wanted to, you are missing 90% of the value of YouTube if you don't have it on your television. And it is a service that it's easy to put on your television. I don't think any TVs have been sold in the last 10 years that aren't smart TVs. If you don't have a smart TV, then of course you can make a smart TV out of a Roku device. All Roku devices can be connected to TVs, and then your YouTube is part of the Roku device. If you have an Amazon Fire Stick or an Amazon TV, the war between Amazon and Google seems to be over it for the time being, and you can so YouTube is available on Amazon services, so you can watch, of course, YouTube through those devices. Chromecast, of course, is built. YouTube will be built in, and if you have like a Samsung TV and you don't is a smart TV and you don't actually have any of those streaming devices, then it'll be a smart TV, and there will be an app. There will be a YouTube app. If it's not on the TV, then at the Samsung store on your TV device, and they're all different. You just go there, download the app and install it, and then you'll be able to watch YouTube on your television. And that's really where most of my YouTube, and you'll see in the video today how I use it. And that's usually how most of the video that I watch on television. And I think that's something, if you don't do it, you're really missing out on a big service because it is so easy to do. Let's see. I think that's about it. Let's watch the video I have for you, and you'll see what I can show you. Let's watch the video. We'll get this going. If I can find it. Here we go. My tips and use of YouTube. Today, I want to talk a little bit about my use of YouTube, how important I think it is, and give you some tips. So let's get started. What is YouTube? Well, there are three words that come to mind. There's YouTube, which is, of course, the free service that we all use. There's YouTube Premium. What is YouTube Premium? YouTube is supported by ads. And so YouTube Premium is $10 a month, and that removes the ads out of the YouTube videos. So if you want ad-free videos, then it is a paid service. I have that service. I spend most of my life in YouTube, so I enjoy that. I enjoy that service. Now there's YouTube TV. YouTube TV is a subscription service. We're not going to talk about YouTube TV. I think it's an excellent service, but that is not the talk today. Today the talk is about YouTube. So let's get started. Where do you find YouTube? Well, YouTube, of course, is on your desktop. It's on your mobile phone, and it's on your tablet. But most important, YouTube should be on your television. It is an app on your television. If you have a Roku device, if you have a Chromecast or a Fire TV, the apps will be really easy to find and see. If you have a smart TV without those devices, then you'll have to look in your menu system to find the YouTube app, but it will be there. All smart TVs have YouTube as an app on them, so you can access YouTube from your television. Now my day starts in the morning. I get up pretty early, around 5 o'clock, and I go out into the kitchen and I turn on the TV, and I like to watch the CBC Evening News, which was taped from the night before. This, of course, is on YouTube. You're going to say to me, well, why didn't you PVR it off the television and use it that way? Well, there are a lot of ads on television, And so I'd have to fast forward through all the ads. So I like to watch the CBC Evening News in the morning when I get up. Now, after the kitchen duties occur, then I like a little quiet time, usually between 6 and 8. I sit in my chair and I usually go over, check important email. I subscribe to over 330 different channels on YouTube, so I like to see what people have created. So I spend a lot of time looking over different YouTube videos that people have created. These could be technical, or cooking, or whatever I'm interested in. And then of course I look at the News Wire service for any technology issues that or articles that have come up. And that's how I spend my mornings. Then it's off to the office I go. That's where I'm sitting today. This is on the main floor of our home, and that's a picture of my office. I'm very busy in the morning. There's Zooming, phone calls, there's updating my calendar, presentations, there's planning the Tech for Seniors show, there's editing lots of websites, and also looking at many of the presentations that I've been developing. All of these features, all of these services that I'm involved with involve YouTube. So I'm on YouTube all morning. Then lunch comes, and I have lunch with Gail. Now they go back upstairs, and we have a nice lunch together. And usually we like to laugh. And I don't want to watch the news all day. That can be very depressing. But you know, on YouTube there are a lot of funny shows. There's All in the Family, Hogan's Heroes, The Jeffersons, The Dean Martin Show, The Carol Burnett Show. Lots of funny shows to make us laugh. So I have a good laugh at lunch. That's so important. Then it's back to the office around 1 o'clock, and I spend my time doing presentations. I edit my presentations, create new ones. I have about 25 active presentations that I'm constantly reevaluating and changing. And again, these are all on YouTube, so I spend my afternoon in YouTube as well. Usually about 2:30, I'm sort of computered out, so usually at that time I'm off for a walk or doing some gardening or some other stuff around the house. But I have to be back around 4 o'clock. If it's my turn to cook that night, then that's my cooking time, as I start around 4 o'clock. Now, if you're interested in cooking, I can tell you that there are an unlimited number of recipes on YouTube. It's incredible. Anything you want to cook, you just say it, and there's somebody that's got lots of recipes on that. So it's a wealth of knowledge if you're into cooking. Cooking techniques are explained. Gordon Ramsay has a channel on there who's talking. There's Jamie Oliver. Two of my favorite channels are The Hungry Hussy. He's an interesting guy who does cooking on a Blackstone grill. Very popular, big following, and I always like to watch his cooking show. And then there's Sam the Cooking Guy. He's an interesting fella. He's a Canadian that lives in San Diego and has a restaurant, and he's got over 1 million subscribers now, and he produces daily shows on cooking tips. And it's interesting to see how well he's done, particularly in the COVID times. And as I prepare dinner, I often turn on a show, but again, it's a YouTube show. This was the Michael Daniels show, and this was Chris Gould from Geeks on Tour talking, and she was talking about the Pixel phone and the upcoming charges that that Google Photos is going to have, and how the Pixel phone you'll have free uploads with the Pixel phone, and that prompted the email that I sent out to everyone last week. So usually I'm preparing dinner. Again, I have a YouTube channel on, and I'm listening to some various show. But again, it's on YouTube. So how do we get started? How do you get started on YouTube? Well, you go to YouTube, right? And this is sort of what you would be, the first homepage. This is your homepage on YouTube. Now you'll see some videos here on the page, and these are videos that YouTube thinks you might like. Now, the more you go, the more they understand what you like. On the left-hand side, you'll see home, you'll see trending, subscriptions, originals, library, history. We'll go through some of those a little bit later, but this is sort of your home page. So you're going to go and you're going to be looking at some videos, which you might find interesting. Now, once you find a video that you're interested in, what you're going to do is you're going to save it so you can come back to it again and watch it again. So I'm going to show you how to bookmark it. I'm going to show you how to save it to a playlist or a folder, or I'm going to show you how to share it now. Okay, so let's look at how we might do this. So this is a video called 23 Ways Seniors Need Alexa. So we're going to come up, and if you look at the top here, you'll see there's a URL associated with that. This is a website. So each video has its own website. So we're going to come over and to the right side here, and we're just going to bookmark it. So there we go. We just clicked on the little star, and we're going to click done, and now we have it bookmarked. So let's look at our bookmark menu. We're going to come down. This is the bookmark that we just created. Now this is we're going to save this to a playlist or a folder. So we can you'll wonder, what the heck is a playlist? Well, we'll call it a folder. But so we're going to come over here and we're going to hit save. And we're going to hit watch later. One of the things that I would encourage you to do, this is a default folder that you have, and I would encourage you, if you're looking at videos, you'll really want to save it to a watch later folder. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So here we are, we're going to make up a new folder called Seniors Info. And we're going to now come down and we can make it public so everyone can see it. Anyone can see and search. Or we're going to make it unlisted, so you have to have the link to be able to see it. Or it's going to be private and only you can see it. So let's go ahead and create this. We'll hit the create button. And now we've created that. So let's go back to our save button here, and you'll see that it's now saved to under watch later, and it's also saved in the folder, or what we'll call that a playlist in the menu. One of the interesting things is as you move around through the menus in YouTube, and you'll see lots of interesting videos, I would encourage you to save it to the watch later button there, because YouTube constantly changes these videos, and if you come back and try to find a video that you might have been interested in looking at, it's gone and it's being replaced by another one, and you'll never find it again. So if I have an interesting video that I want, I'll always click and put it in the watch later playlist or folder. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, let's talk about home screen saving. All right, so we're back at our home screen, and let's come along, and these are the various videos that you have, and let's look at this one about Instapot here. So we can say, okay, let's have a look at this. This is by Six Sisters. They do a lot of work with Instapot. So you see the little three-dot menu there. Click this, and now you can add it to the queue. So if you want to queue a bunch of videos up to watch, that's great. You can save it to the watch later. Remember, we talked about that. Or we can save it to a playlist. So we have three options that we can do right with the video when we're watching it. All right, let's talk about playlists. This is our home page again, and these are some of the, there's the library, the history. As we come down, these are what we call playlists. So let's go to Seniors Info, which we made. We're going to click on this, and I've added a few more videos here. So within our folder, or we can call it a playlist, there are a number of videos that I've added. So with that playlist or folder, there are a number of videos, and you can see this is now made this a public playlist, so everyone can see all our videos that we want. So how are we going to send this or transfer this to someone else? Well, if you look at top there, you'll see that the playlist is just a URL, right? So we're going to come along and we're going to save this, and we'll just click save again. Remember, we saved the video before, but now we're saving the playlist. So now if we come down at the bottom, we will see this is the playlist that we saved, and I'm going to drag it up to the bookmark bar. And there we have the playlist. So if we come over and we open another window, then of course it goes away, but when we click on that playlist, it comes up again. And guess what's over here? If we come along the bookmark bar on the left-hand side here, we'll come over in a minute here, come on over to the left. What's TFS? It's Tech for Seniors. Yes, we have a playlist, and that has all the videos of Tech for Seniors on there, and that's a quick way that I look at all our videos. You'll find the playlist URL in all our newsletters. It's on our website. So all you have to do is put that in and save it as a bookmark, and you will have all the Tech for Seniors videos available for you. Now, suppose you wanted to send an email to someone with the seniors info that we just had. Well, we could send the playlist, we could send a specific video URL, or we could send a link. Let's see how to do this. All right, so let's go to, we're at home now, and you're going to see this again. This is the playlist, right? And this is the URL, and this is the playlist with our 3 videos in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, right click and copy, and we're going to put it into an email, and it's going to say send the playlist, and we just put the link there. That's the link to the playlist, and that will send the list for those 3 videos, okay? But let's suppose we just wanted to send this one video, 23 Ways Seniors Need It. Well, when we click on that video, this is the video playing. If we come down, we'll see this is the 23 Ways Seniors Need Alexa. Let's go up to the URL again. This is the URL for that video. So let's just copy it. We'll take this and we'll copy it over. And we're going to copy it. And we're going to paste that, and we're going to send, this is the URL just for that specific video, and we can now paste that and send that. But we can also send a specific unique video link. If we come back to the movie, and let's look down here, and you see this little button called share. If we click on share, this gives us a unique Google identification that can be moved into any of those above. We'll hit the select and copy and paste.
Here's what I found on the web.
Shorter than that. It's a short and abbreviated version for you. All right, let me show you a little trick. Let's say we wanted to send 23 Ways Seniors Need A. So if I come down and we click the insert button, and we're going to insert a link, and this pops up. Let's come over and take our URL from the video. We're going to copy this. We're then going to paste it into that link, and we're going to hit OK. And now you don't have to put that in there. It's a clickable link. You just click on that, and that's going to take you right to that video. Pretty cool, eh? That's neat. You'll see that being done on websites, and certainly I send that out in a lot of our newsletters. You just click the link. Now here we are back at the our video. I always think it's nice, if you enjoy the video, you should click on the like button. That's important because that helps with the ranking and the search for YouTube videos. And also you can subscribe. So what does it mean when you subscribe? Well, it means that in your subscription menu that I showed you before, you will get any new videos that are produced by this individual will be in your subscriptions folder. So that's pretty cool. So you can keep, it's a way of keeping, there you'll see come down here and you'll see home, you'll see the trending, but this is the subscriptions. So if you click this, these are the subscriptions that you have subscribed to. And as I said, I've done over 330 subscriptions. So these are all the videos and people who produce content that I'm interested in. And you can also, Tech for Seniors has their own YouTube channel. You can certainly subscribe to that as well. Now, when you watch a video, I'd like you to look at this. This is episode 35 of Tech for Seniors. You should always look at the Show More button at the bottom. You'll see the information about the video, but when you click on that, you'll see that another box opens up and you can see the Show More. And this is all these are links, these are time chapter links to specific points in the video. And you can just click on that and it will take you right to the point in the video that you want. A lot of YouTube creators use these, and it makes it very easy. And all Tech for Seniors have this in the Show More section, and that will take you right to the specific part of the video that you want to see. I hope you've enjoyed this video on YouTube. The power of YouTube is incredible. In closing, I'd like to show you a short video. I'm not going to show you that part of the video. I'll explain it later why I'm not. Someone remind me later on, and I'll tell you why. But anyway, that is the video I did. Do we have any questions about anything that I covered so far? I'm going to go on and play some more. I've got a few other ideas for you, but I wanted to, if you have any thoughts on that, Mike, go ahead.
I was just going to say that a third category might be a consumer. You know, you said it was search engine, but searching for specific how to do it. There's so much how to do it. If you've got to repair a water heater, how to do it yourself. I had to remove a windshield arm from my wife's Chrysler, and it wouldn't come off. And I found 10 different videos, 10 different techniques, and I finally found the technique that worked for me. Otherwise, I was going to have to go to a garage. Saved me a lot of money, saved me a lot of time. So there's tons and tons of how to do it on YouTube if you're looking for a way to do something yourself.
And Mike, the other thing, that's a good point, because the other thing that happens is in a Google search, not a YouTube search, but in a Google search, you will pick up the YouTube information. So if, for example, if you wanted to know how to screw in a light bulb and you did a Google search and someone had done a YouTube video, then you would pick up the YouTube video in the Google search, not the YouTube search, but the Google search. The other thing that's so important, and we'll talk about next, is chapters, because I alluded to chapters in the in that video, but we want to talk a little bit more. But chapters are we're not always in YouTube. This is a relatively recent event, probably in the last couple of years, and the search in Google will also find the specific chapters. So for example, if you wanted to find a screw in a light bulb, and maybe you were left-handed and you wanted to find out how to screw a light bulb if you were left-handed, and someone had a chapter in a video about that in YouTube, then the Google search will find that chapter for you. It'll take you right to the chapter. So chapters are really, really important. And you're right, Mike, it's amazing the things. I use that all the time. So to find different around the house, how to fix leaks, how to do this, how to do that, how to videos. Although I will tell you the most commonly, the most common YouTube search, now this is YouTube, not Google, is for music. It's how to find a specific song. It was interesting. I looked that up this morning. The most common search is around music, which is interesting. So yes, big time. And if you aren't using that, like I bought what did I buy last week? I bought something last week, and I don't want to look at the instruction manual. I don't want to read an instruction manual. It's much easier just to go to YouTube, search the model and the item, because literally anything made today will have a YouTube video on how to unboxing, evaluation, how to put it together. I'd rather watch a YouTube video than read the instruction manual, right? So it's much better to, I just do a YouTube search, find it, and then watch the video as I put it together, right? Any other questions? Any questions? Are there any questions about watching YouTube on television? I would really encourage, if you haven't got YouTube installed on your TV, or you're not watching YouTube you really should. You're missing out so much, and it's such a big part of YouTube. Are there any questions? Does everybody understand that? Is that okay? Yes, Diane, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was
Unmute
muted.
yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I had a question because I love YouTube and I always like to subscribe. But the question, I think I just figured out the answer. Once I subscribe, where do I find them?
So it's a good question. let's ask. First of all, let's talk about subscribe, because if you watch Huey and my video, if you watch Hugh's videos, you watch my video, the first thing we always say in there is please like and subscribe. And you're wondering, what the heck? Why do you guys keep asking me to do that? And of course, the more subscribers you have, the more likely your videos will be shown to other people. So that's important. And the more likes you have, the more likely it will be shown to other consumers, right? So that's why we always want people to like and subscribe. Now, in your situation, Diane, is it shows up on the left-hand side under subscription. So on your YouTube feed on the left side, when you go down to the button on there and say subscriptions, it will show all the subscriptions you have subscribed to. But more important is the notifications, is that notification bell on there, because if you click the notification bell, then YouTube will notify you when a new video is being made. And that really is the huge advantage. So it's not just subscribing, but it's notifying, and then they will notify you when a new video of that creator has been uploaded and is available. So for Chris Gould, when she Geeks on Tour, whenever she uploads a video, I get a notification saying Chris has uploaded a new video. Do you want to look at it? And so on and so forth. So it's not just subscribing. You really want to click that notification bell and do the notifications, and then you'll get notified when a new video is made.
And in my case, the notification was going to my Gmail, correct? Because that's my account, how I signed up.
Well, hold on. No,
yeah,
they don't do that anymore. They used to do your notifications will only be within YouTube, or you'll get a push notification but they won't come through Gmail. That they stopped that a number of years ago, and you won't that won't happen. And it was the traffic on there was crazy, with that many that was creating hundreds of millions of emails every day, just notifying people.
Right.
So they stopped that. So you'll not get an email.
Well, all the ones that I've just found are under categories. If you have Gmail, they're in your inbox, but then they categorized it under social and updates.
Social.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize, I didn't look at the dates, but so in order to see them, you actually have to be logged into your YouTube account.
Right. Or you'll get a push notification.
And the push notification would come.
Could come on your mobile device. It could come. I get them on my mobile device. On my mobile device, I have said, you can choose to get notifications from different services. And on YouTube, I actually turned it off because I have so many channels.
Right.
That I've got over 300 or 400 channels I follow now, and it was just dinging every minute, right? Because there's all these people uploading stuff, and I don't want to get dinged every minute of everybody uploading, right? So
well, that's true.
Yeah, so I
Okay,
just turned it off.
thank you.
It depends on how. The other tip I'm going to give everybody is a tip that I learned the hard way, and I'm gonna tell you something that I would recommend. And I don't know if Huey agrees with this or not, but here's the deal. If we talked about playlists, and playlists are great, I think playlists are really a great way to save some videos to a playlist. The problem with playlists is that you can't search those playlists. In other words, when you have a video and you want to save that video to the playlist, you would think Google would make it very easy to simply find the playlist that you have and save it to that playlist. For example, recipes. I have recipes for dinner. I have recipes for lunch. I have recipes for breakfast. I have pasta reps. I go on and on. I have all these recipes that I like to save to specific playlists, but I can never find the playlists. And that's really bothered me. And I thought, why did they ever? Come on, Google, you're a search engine. You should be able to simply do this, right? Well, playlists were never designed for that, right? It just isn't supposed to be a folder that you save things in. A much better way is to save those, to save the video, the URL, just bookmark it. And bookmarks can be searched. Bookmarks can be put into all sorts of different folders. You can categorize them easily. You can easily find them. Just save the video into a bookmark, and you'll probably be a lot better off in the long run. Okay. It's just if you're starting and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to make a whole bunch of playlists because I want to put all these videos I'm watching in certain locations, I would advise it much better to put it in folders within your bookmark system rather than make a bunch of playlists. Where the playlists are really a big advantage of those of you who have computer clubs, those of you who have websites and you want to put the URL onto your website. In some of the clubs, when I had way back when I first started and I started doing websites, I would put each video that I found that was specific to what I wanted to say, and I would copy the URL and paste it on the website. So that was a lot of work. I had to paste and copy paste. I was always updating it and so on and so forth. Well, you see, with playlists, you don't have to do that. You just put the playlist once on the website, and then anytime you save a video into that playlist, it's updated, right? Everybody gets the update. So it's a much easier way of saving video. So saving videos. So that's just a tip that I found because now I have over 300 playlists. It's hard for me to find the specific playlist to put the videos in. Now, Google does a pretty good job. YouTube does a pretty good job. They sort of know what you're doing, and sometimes they get it right and it's right there and it's easy to find, but sometimes it isn't. So that's just my advice for everybody if you're starting out. All right. I want to really talk about chapters. And so I want to play another little video for you, and then we'll talk about chapters and why this is so important. So let me just share my screen. I've got one more and we'll do this video for you. YouTube officially released video chapters this week. Creator timestamps from their video descriptions now automatically turn into video chapters in the progress bar. This feature will be available on the desktop, Android, and iOS version. They will only appear when creators add timestamps data to their description starting with position 00:00. Let me show you an example in a video that I just made. You'll see in the description here, I've shown the timestamps that I've made starting with 00:00. These are the chapters that I've engaged in the video. If we go up, we will now see the timeline, and you will see as I run my cursor along the timeline, you will see the different sections that are named. Clicking on those sections will take you immediately to the location. the real cool thing is that the timeline markers that are on the timeline here are automatically created from the timestamp in the description. So in this example, I'm playing the video in the section called Organizing Your Smartphone. I move my cursor along the line and come back and want to see the security talk by Bob. I can simply click on this and it takes me right to the security talk. Another example would be as if I'm in the smartphone talk and I want to move to the security talk. I can scroll down and simply come over here and click on the time 9:14 to go right to the security talk.
And share your screen.
And there we are in the security talk. Ron Brown with Silvercom Computer and Technology Club. Video chapters by YouTube. So just to let everybody know, if you are a creator, or if you're not a creator, but if you are a creator, it will be very soon, probably in the next few months, where YouTube will automatically be putting this in. So if you upload and create a video and don't put chapters in, YouTube will create the chapters for you and put them in. So this is an extremely important feature. Let me just show you, and a lot of people make mistakes on this and don't look at it. Let me show you why that is so. Let me just share my screen, and we are going to we'll go back here, and I want to share here. And you should be able to see my screen here. Now, of course, you're looking at this, and we're looking at this. This is the last edition of Tech for Senior. And this is, the menu has changed a little bit. So that video I made was, I think, a year or two ago. So this is how if you go to Tech for Senior and you go to episode 119, this is what you're going to look for. And you don't really see the chapters. And so you have to look down here, and you see 93 views, July 4th, 2022. Then you come over and you see this little button here that says more. When you click that button, that brings a whole other menu up here. And now you can see all the chapters that I have put in. So you can see them either at the bottom here or just down the list. And if you wanted to see Bob's security update, then the time chapter is right here, okay? You simply click on this, and this is going to take you right to Bob. And here's the new intro I made for him. He really likes. He's hot stuff. There you go. I guess he's not here today. Anyway, so that's how you'd find Bob. And then if you wanted to look at Huey's the segment that he did the other day on Google Maps, just click there, and it'll take you right to that location. So that's called. So those are called chapters. And the important part about the chapters is that chapters are searchable not on YouTube, but also on Google. So if you do a Google search and you want to do a search for whatever you're looking for, it will pick up the chapters. So if you are a creator and you want to get more people watching your video, the first thing you want to make sure that you really want to make sure that you put chapters into your video, because otherwise it will certainly improve the searchability of your videos. And I sort of was thinking last night, and I thought about an interesting scenario, and I want to just run this by you now. Let's say we're all creators. This is a little bit of a creator tip for you, but also a consumer tip. So let's say that let's say you want to make a new video. You're new and you just want to make a video, and you make a video and you call it "How to Screw a Light Bulb In." Okay, and you make a video and you show someone how to screw a light bulb in. You photograph it and you make a video. So the video is called "How to Screw a Light Bulb In." You don't have any description in there. You don't have any chapters. You just have this great video on how to screw a light bulb in, right? Now, what do you think your chances of that video being seen by very many people are? And the answer to that question is pretty low for a number of reasons, but number of reasons is that of course is that there's lots of videos on how to screw a light bulb in. So your competition's really big, right? So let's say that let's look at this a little bit different. Let's say chapter 1, let's make some chapters and change the video a little bit. Let's say chapter 1 could be how to screw a light bulb in if you're right-handed. Chapter 2 could be how to screw a light bulb in if you're left-handed, right? Chapter 3 could be, what if you have one arm, you're an amputee? How to screw a light bulb in if you're one-armed. Chapter 4 could be, what if you're blind? How to screw a light bulb in if you're blind. Now you have 4 chapters, right? And that you can talk about. And let's change the name. How to screw a light bulb in if you're disabled, right? Now, basically you have the same video. Now you have, you've added 4 different chapters. All those are searchable, much more interesting. So, and you could make some graphics up for the thumbnail for the beginning of your video. Now you have a video out there. You've got 4 chapters. You've got some interest. How does a one arm, what difference does it really make if you're right or left-handed when you screw a light bulb in? And people are going to think, just a minute, maybe I better watch that video and find out, why that would be so. So you can see how changing and adding the chapters makes a big difference if you're a creator on the searchability and the interest of your video. So that's important for you to know. And it's really important as a consumer when you go and you want to listen to a video, maybe it's a 20-minute video, but there's something specific you want. And like Mike said, how-to videos and how to put something together. If it's an unboxing, you don't really want to see him take it out of the box. You want to get right to the nuts and bolts of how to put the thing together. And in the chapters, you could just go down to assembly or something and click that, and you'd go right to that part of the video. So just click that little more button that I showed you, and that will bring up the chapter section. So chapters are very, very important. Any questions so far? Anybody? Mike, go ahead.
So you mentioned that YouTube in the future is going to automatically make chapters. So I guess they're going to use AI to figure out when you transition from one scene to another. And I'm assuming unless they're actually parsing the speech and figuring out what you're saying, it's just going to be generic chapters. It'll say chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and then you have to go in and label it what those chapters are actually about.
I'm assuming so, but each video that you upload is very interesting. Things have changed again. One of the things that we looked at is we used to always talk about tagging videos and creating links so that it would so that we would get searchability. But in fact, each video now that you upload, Google analyzes each word that you say and has already figured that out and knows exactly every word in that video. And then it matches that and tries to link it with people who might be interested in that video. So they've already done that. They do that now, and that all happens. And that is, that's one of the reasons why they can disqualify it or put restrictions on it or write it immediately, because they can stream the whole video, because they do search the whole video and they do voice recognition on it.
It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, I don't know how the chapters will work. I'm surprised that people don't put chapters in. You still see a lot of videos that don't have chapters in them. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how they're going to figure out how to make the chapters. You'll of course be able to edit them, but I think but it'll be very interesting. But it is so important, if you are a creator, please put chapters in your videos. Go ahead, Diane.
Yeah, I just hit create and it says upload video or go live. So what is go live?
Go live is where you can actually go live and stream. And now we do that on Tech for Senior. We of course stream from Zoom over to YouTube, right? So you can watch our show on YouTube even though it's a Zoom meeting, because we stream from Zoom over to YouTube.
Okay.
Now you can actually do that directly on YouTube, where you don't actually have to use Zoom. You can actually stream right off of YouTube, and do that. Now we don't do that. We run it through Zoom, and on for our Thursday show, we use a software called StreamYard, and that works really well. And we stream it over to Zoom, but you can stream right from YouTube.
A lot of people who go to like a conference and they just want to do a 2-minute report on what they're doing or what they're seeing, is they'll do a live video, and they're talking, and it's going out live, but as soon as they're done with it, it becomes a video and stays on YouTube,
Right,
on their channel.
And the other thing that I was thinking about last night, I was wondering, if you're not a creator, what advantage would there be for having a YouTube channel? Like, why would you want to do that? And I guess there are limited situations. Just a few of them. I thought one of the things you have to remember about YouTube is it's free, and there is no limit on the amount that you can upload or store there. So if you, let's say you are, maybe your church, for example, does you record a lot of videos, and you need a place to store the videos, you could certainly upload these and store them on YouTube. Even if you weren't using them as a creator, you just archive them there and leave them. I guess for the average person in videos that they would create themselves, personal videos, Google Photos really has sort of resolved that issue, in that you can upload all your pictures, all your videos to Google Photos. And now the difference between that would be, of course, is you still have hard drive space that you have to, there is a limited amount of space that you have. And if you use that space up, then you have to purchase more, albeit it is cheap. It's very, very cheap. There is still a cost. Whereas with on YouTube and uploading videos, there's no limit on what you can upload, and it is all free. But there is the hassle and the management of running a YouTube channel that you have to do. And I'm not quite sure how to balance that, and what advice I would give you. It would depend really on the volume. If you were in a situation that you had a very large number of videos, and you kept having these videos come in, and the example I thought last night might be church services, then it would be a good place to store them. You could certainly do that on YouTube. Might be an option for you. Ryan, did you have another question?
Just as an example of how people use YouTube, I paint, so I belong to a lot of painting groups, and sometimes those are Facebook Live, but most of them are YouTube, and it's a membership. A lot of them are memberships that you pay to belong. And then I've noticed that on one of them, she'll be using YouTube, and she says it's live, and it says live, but yet she'll say, you can stop this video if I'm going too fast, and you can rewind. If her speed is too fast for you. So that's probably something you can do within the recording and then do it live. I just found it interesting because I watch so much of that.
Thanks, Dan. That brings up a couple of questions. You asked a couple of good questions there. First of all, if you're streaming anything to live to YouTube, it's being recorded. So if it is being restreamed, then when it's finished, it will be. Now, the author or the people doing this may stream it and say, no, we'll turn it as private and we won't allow this to be public. That's possible. But most cases, what happens is that it's streamed and recorded. Like Tech for Senior on Monday, it's streamed over to YouTube, it's recorded, and then as soon as the show is finished, it's a permanent copy and people can look at it, right? So now you brought up memberships. Now, memberships is a new concept for Google or YouTube. They've been brought in, I guess the last year. And the idea of memberships is, as a creator, you can decide, you can create memberships, and you can have different tiers of memberships. And as you create information, create stuff, then you can require people either to be a member to see it. So you may sell memberships and have different tier levels, and that would be different access to different videos maybe that you would have, and you can charge what you want for these memberships, and Google manages that for you. So that's a new feature that has come out, and that's what you're talking about when you see memberships.
Yes, and I'm part of that. Some of them are free, or they'll give one free painting, and then if you want to join, you pay a certain fee, and then you're in what they call private group.
That's right. That's
Right.
right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thanks for mentioning that. Sheila, go ahead.
Yeah, if you've created a video in the past without chapters, can you go in and edit it and add the chapters in?
Sure, you can do that. It's very easy to do that. And yes, and you can create them, edit them, delete them, change them, whatever you want after the video is up. It's very, very easy to do. The Camtasia, which is my video editing program that I use for all my videos, it actually inserts it. I can insert the chapters. The software does it for me. So when I upload the video, the chapters are all automatically inserted. If you have TubeBuddy, TubeBuddy is an add-on product that's a pay product that most people who are creators use. They have a feature now in it that will easily allow you to make chapters after the video's up. So there are a lot of third-party software and things that you can do to make this easy. When I first started, I would just get the video, after Tech for Senior, I would record it, edit it, then I'd put it up, online, and then I have to rewatch the whole thing to figure out where the timestamps were to put the cuts in. And, it was a labor, it was a lot of work, but things have got much, much easier now. And I think this automatic insertion will be very interesting, and see how it works.
And with PowerPoints, as you change slides, there's a way to automatically create for each slide a chapter. And then you can, if 2 or 3 of them should really be the same chapter, you can manually take them out.
Yep. All you have to do is you need a minimum of three chapters to start. So all you do is you put in the description, you put 00:00 start, and then, or introduction. And then below that, then 01 or whatever the next sequence would be. Let's say 01:23, 02.40. And you need 3 of those sequences, and then the chapters will be automatically put in.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Diane.
Ron, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, but I was just
No, go
thinking if you've got enough interest, you might do a training someday on how to create and, have people make their own little video or whatever, if there was enough interest.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Diane. That's a good point. There are just there's so much of that already on YouTube. There is, I think, half of YouTube is how to create YouTube videos, it's just,
Right.
There's so much of that going on.
But we like listening to you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thanks so much. It is there. And I do have a number of videos out on YouTube that you can certainly search, and they're available on our YouTube channel on making money on YouTube, how to make money on YouTube, because of course, that's another option that many people now are using YouTube as a feature of making money. It's very interesting. I did a video. We played it on YouTube, played it on Tech for Senior about 2 weeks ago, and it was on cooking channels. And I like to cook, and I have I gave my five cooking channels I like to watch, and talked about the people who actually started these channels. And with the pandemic with the pandemic that occurred, and people stayed at home and they all wanted to cook. And these channels became they reached 1 million. Most of these ones I talk about reached 1 million subscribers very quickly. And you will make on 1 million subscribers, you're going to be making $10,000 or $12,000 a month on ad revenue. So that's no small amount of money. So they quickly got propelled into stardom on this. I watch a fella who called the Blackwell. He's just an interesting guy called the Blackwell. He makes tables out of wood, and he's a good storyteller, and he's a good videographer, and he's been doing it for 2 or 3 years now. And he called, I think, the Blackwell Studio or something, and he just makes tabletops in his woodworking shop. He has over 1 million subscribers now. A guy that is a farmer and just talks about his farming life. He does a video every day of what happens on the farm. He has over 1 million subscribers. People like to watch him just because they like to watch farming videos rather than news, right? Who wants to watch the news? It's bad news all the time. So who wants to watch that? So people want to watch things that are really nice. And these people are, they are good storytellers, and they do have some good technical ability to make some nice videos, but they've got, overnight they created huge channels with lots of viewers. And so it is interesting in quilting, sewing, all sorts of skills that people have, big channels. And but cooking was the one that was very interesting because the pandemic really moved cooking channels up big time.
Yeah, but when people monetize their videos, they've got to have a lot of viewers to be able to make any kind of money.
Yeah, and that's why I said these people have 1 million. They're superstars. They have 1 million. Over 1 million subscribers, and that's a lot of subscribers. That's a big time. You've got to be really, really, really good. Yes, Mike, go ahead.
If you can think of a particular subject that interests you, that entertains you, there's a YouTube channel and there's a YouTube creator. And in some of them, as you've mentioned, they're making big money. My wife and I used to cruise and go to casinos and slot machine addicts. With the pandemic, we went through withdrawal because we stopped going on cruises and stopped going to casinos. But the YouTube videos of the actual slot machine players built up followings, as you're talking about, millions of people following the people. They go into the casinos and they work out arrangements with the casinos. They go in there, they get permission to record. And if you want to watch people play the slots, looking for patterns and making obscene money in their jackpots, they're also making extreme money in their channels, just from the subscribers. And you can send them coffee and you can join Patreon. I know you didn't specifically mention Patreon, but it's another way channels are monetized. I watch Norwegian train videos. Now you would think, oh my God, what is there to watch a Norwegian train? Well, helps me go to sleep sometimes. Amazing scenery, especially in the wintertime. I've gone up over the Arctic Circle. Yeah. I've gone between Oslo and Bergen. I mean, I know when this thing's coming around and hitting the next bend in the tunnels, but they're monetizing these channels. And it's esoteric subjects, but it's just they built up a monstrous following in these things.
Sure, and Mike, that brings up another point that is Patreon. Maybe some of you've heard of Patreon. You don't know what Patreon is. I have a whole video out about Patreon. So if you are so Patreon has nothing to do with YouTube. All right, Patreon is a separate company, separate organization. Patreon was as a creator of content, and no matter whether it's YouTube or not, as to pay you money, that money needs, and they can send you.
You're breaking up a little bit, Ron.
Okay. They can send you money in the post or something like that. But what most people want is an online credit card system where you can pay through PayPal, MasterCard, or Visa. So many years ago, 10, 12 years ago, there was two fellas from California who set up, I think they're from San Francisco, set up Patreon. And they set it up as a company to set up a payment services for creators. In other words, creators could use the service to create to get money for their services. And this is how Patreon got started. So it is a payment service for creators. Now, creators use that on YouTube because if they put stuff up there on YouTube and they want to they want to be paid for it, then this is how they would use it through Patreon. And Patreon has memberships. They can set up tiers and memberships, the same as Google. The big advantage of Patreon is that this is really set up for creators, and so the fees are very low on that. With those memberships that we were talking about earlier, Google takes 30% of everything you make. So any memberships or anything you charge, Google gets 30%. So it is, remember I said it was free? Well, not quite. there are some little snafus. So Patreon actually is a good system. It's meant for creators, and it's a good relationship, I think, between the two.
There is a Linux channel that I follow, and this particular fellow reviews a different distribution of Linux 2 or 3 times a week. I don't know how he has time to do anything else, just like I don't know how you guys have a real life with what you do online. But he's got a Patreon system, and every month a small amount of money goes from PayPal, to him from me. And he hasn't reached 1 million yet subscribers, but he's got thousands of subscribers. And so his goal, and he said it several times, his goal is to be completely independent, stop his day job, and to do nothing but YouTube videos on Linux.
And the success of Steve Dotto, those of you who've seen Dotto and Dotto Tech, he has a Wednesday show called Webinar Wednesday. He has a full channel. He does all sorts of things, but Webinar Wednesday is his weekly show. He has he's probably one of the most successful people with Patreon. He has about 1,000 people who pay him his fee is $10 a month, and they donate $10 a month to keep the Webinar Wednesday going. And that's so he makes $10,000 US a month for the show on Wednesdays, but he has a staff and overhead and all sorts of stuff. So I think it's a reasonable amount, but he makes that and on his Webinar Wednesday show. And that's a example. You probably have heard of Steve Dotto. Any other questions?
I just mentioned what I put in chat. You probably didn't have a chance to review it as it was up. One of the benefits of the premium channel, besides no ads, is YouTube has a whole channel of movies that are free without advertisements. Many of them are classics. You'll see some old black and whites, even some old talkies, from the original. But there are some that are maybe 5 to 10 to 15 years old that you might like to go back and see again, or that you missed when you were younger. And so I have actually set up my own playlist of movies. YouTube is constantly recommending them to me. And I used to put them in my watch later. I just put them in my movie playlist. And then when my wife comes in and says, okay, what is there to watch tonight? And we'll just open up the playlist and go down and look at the movies and their description and watch an hour and a half or 2-hour movie.
A couple of years ago, last year, my wife and I were members of a movie club, and we watched a movie, and then once a week we got to do a Zoom meeting and talk about the movie. And they were older movies, right? And so we had to find the movies that we were notified a week in advance. And it's really hard because sometimes they were on Netflix, sometimes they weren't, sometimes they're on Prime, they weren't, and we had to look through all the Hulu and all those other channels. And if we did find it, a lot of times it's $10 or $15 to watch it. It's interesting because on YouTube, if you go, you'll usually find all the movies are on YouTube, like you say. Now, even if you have to pay for them, they're all around $5.95. It's very reasonable, and you can. So if you just do a YouTube search and say you want to watch this movie, most likely it's there. You pay your $5.99 and you can watch it. So a lot of people don't know that, and they look at it. A lot of times it's a paid service on Netflix, particularly older movies, and they want a lot more than you can get them on YouTube. So it is, if you're stuck and you can't find a movie, and then YouTube's a good place to look. Any more questions?
Stan?
Stan still here?
I
Yep.
am here. Wow, that was fascinating. Really learned a great deal of myself. I don't use YouTube anywhere near as much as you two guys do, but I think I'm going to start. Excellent. Okay, I have a couple of just quick announcements. I'd like to let the CFCS members know what meetings are coming up. And the first one is this Wednesday, the 13th. The second Wednesday is the Linux group, which is merged in with the group in Chicago. Mike usually sends out an email to the membership on that.
It's the New Jersey group, Stan. It's Brookdale.
Yes.
Brookdale.
Okay, thank you. Monday, the 18th, third Monday, is the Apple group talking about Macs and iPads, iPhones, that sort of thing. They have a good meeting. The 21st, third Thursday, is the board of directors. I see there's a couple of members of that are still on. And then the 26th Tuesday, the fourth Tuesday, is the Tech Sig. So I'll be sending out an email reminding all of that. And all right, are there any other announcements that anyone else would like to make?
Just a reminder, Monday, Tech for Seniors, Thursday, Tech for Senior Live, learning Chromebooks on the fourth Thursday at 2. I'm trying to think, am I doing any others? And I don't think so. But yeah, lots of good information available whenever and wherever you want.
And finding the time is the trick for sure.
And of
Well,
course,
thank you all for coming.
this will be this is being recorded. It'll be on the CFCS channel along with the Windows SIG. Will be on the Windows channel or the CFCS channel as well.
Okay, and with that, I guess we ought to say again, thanks all for coming. Stay safe, and we'll see you all next time.